steps here with setting up the user database, which is being set up in a decentralized way to store users' data actually on chain. Once we get through that, then we'll be doing like the smart contract testing on the actual marketplace smart contract, and we'll be able to start running sales once we get through that. And then once we get through all that, of course, we'll be able to start letting other collections and other artists list their NFTs on the marketplace as we bring them on board as well. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at with the development side of things. It is a place that you can go and see NFTs in your wallet right now, but we don't have any functionality as far as trading or selling goes. So
I have a question.
It is a place that you can go and see NFTs in your wallet right now, but we don't have any functionality as far as trading or selling goes.
Searching the smart contracts that are already active on Optimism, or is it like invitation only, like Maker's Place does, or is it like somebody has an interest of being in your marketplace and then there's a conversation or a forum? What does that process look like in your mind?
Yeah, so we don't have the applications live yet for the creators. We definitely want to get through some of this beta testing first before we start to have everybody apply. So it is definitely a permission-based access to list your NFTs on the Fractal Visions marketplace smart contract. So something that we would need to permit for people to be able to have their collections show up on the marketplace itself. And the grants program that we're running starting in January kind of helps with this curation process. Mainly what we're looking for is projects that align with Gitcoin ecosystem or with public goods in general. I mean, the main requirement, of course, obviously, is to have a collection on Optimism. So that's our main goal right now, is to encourage people to publish their art or their collections or develop their projects on Optimism, not just to be a part of our marketplace, but to actually get the rewards from the blockchain with their retroactive funding rewards on Optimism. So that kind of like brings people into the ecosystem as our contribution towards the networks. So it kind of like keeps it growing. And then of course, when we find people that align with those same values, we'll kind of have a good sense of who wants to play a part in the growth of our own ecosystem. And those, I guess, genres would be related to the grants program that we're running too. So we're kind of running the grants program congruently with the same genres that are going to be on the actual marketplace itself. So yeah, the Gitcoin grants is kind of helping us curate the projects that we want to bring on board.
Very cool.
If that makes sense.
No, that makes total sense. So let me ask you this: what if
the Gitcoin grants is kind of helping us curate the projects that we want to bring on board. If that makes sense.
No, that makes total sense. Actively, what if provide secondary sales right through a marketplace as an example? I'm thinking about the way we've structured our education passports, right? So if it's not designed for people to sell them necessarily on secondary, right? But as I understand it, the way we've so let's just say hypothetically, Fractal Visions decided Kingfisher's Media provides enough value. Kingfisher Media is public goods. Kingfisher Media is a direct result of participation in Gitcoin grants. and they want to list their
let's just say hypothetically
primary
Fractal
sales
Visions
through
decided
Fractal
Kingfisher
Visions.
Media
Is that a
represents no value,
possibility?
Kingfish Media is public goods.
Okay,
Kingfisher
so
Media
you're
is
talking
enjoying
about like
global
the launch
participation in Gateway
pad
grants,
aspect
and they
of
want
the
to
marketplace.
Right,
list
like hosting a mint page, right?
primary
Right. Yeah.
sales
So
through
OpenSea
Fractal
does
Visions.
with their
Is
drop
yeah,
that a
so
possibility?
this is definitely additional
Okay,
tooling.
so you're talking about like the
And
launch
yeah, just like
aspect of
OpenSea
the
did like
marketplace.
roll
Right,
out
like hosting a
their
mint page,
creator launch
Right,
pad
yeah,
That's what
so-
or
OpenSea does.
access
Yeah,
much
so
later
this
on
is
in
definitely
the
additional,
progression of
tooling.
what they were doing here in the space.
And yeah,
That's
just
definitely
like
what
OpenSea
we
did,
are
like,
planning
roll
on
out
doing as
their
well. Kind of,
creator
getting the marketplace
launchpad or
operational,
access much
allowing
later on
creators
in
or
the
builders
progression
with existing
of what they were doing
collections
here in the
to
space.
come
That
on board
is
and
definitely
list
what we
their
are
existing
planning on
collections.
doing as well.
But then there is a
Getting the
pretty fair
marketplace
amount
operational,
allowing creators or builders with existing collections to come on board and list their existing collections. But then there is a pretty fair amount of work to do, especially on like the coding and research and development side for a launch pad. That is something that we will probably be aiming for the middle of the year in 2024 as far as like having our own launch pad goes. And this is something that we don't want people to have public access to. We have seen a lot of really bad actors and other things happen from having like an open permissionless launch pad. So this will also be curated to creators that are existing on the marketplace. They would actually have to be like approved for the marketplace and maybe even have some collections that exist already before they would be able to utilize the launch pad. The intention behind the launch pad is to help super fuel public goods initiatives when they launch from our platform. And the way that we plan on doing that is through cross promotional assistance, along with being able to highlight these projects on our platform when they are launching for the first time. But I mean, if let's say you're a new project that's coming into the space, you're a new project that's never minted anything before, and you want to launch from our launch pad once we have it out, there would just, I think, need to be some sort of curation process um, to make sure that the creators that are coming on board are, pretty intentional with what they're doing and not gonna just disappear after the fact. So that's what we're kind of worried about. A couple other things when we do create this creator launch pad is like based on IP rights. So we're going to implement into the actual deployment for people an IP open source license that's actually like embedded into the smart contract. It's called the Can't Be Evil license for open source or what is it? Creative Commons, like open source projects. If people want to restrict the use to their product or their images, then they would be able to choose that and have it embedded into the smart contract. If they wanted it to be totally CCO, they could also embed that into the smart contract. And there's so many other things that come into play when building an actual launch pad as far as like Sybil protection goes, and the way that people are able to access like a mint list. So that's, I think, what we're kind of thinking around the launch pad. Like we would love to be able to let people launch their projects in an open and permissionless way, but that comes with way too many risks.
No, it's very cool because all of our imagery that we release out to the public. So like just step you through like our last 2 minutes, right? So our first mint back in May, we launched on both Ethereum and Polygon, and then our most recent mint was a Polygon exclusive. We're thinking about for second semester that we're going to be releasing that on Optimism, right? And all of our artwork on our ERC 721s are licensed under a Creative Commons license, right? So there are certain restrictions of what the end user can do with the art as well, right? Because we use like a CC by NC and D for our ERC 721. So that means that they have to attribute the creator. It's not for commercial purposes, and then there's no derivatives allowed, right? So that's pretty cool that you guys are thinking that way in terms of a licensing approach. I don't know that for Web3 products or Web3 imagery, it's necessary to go to the extent of like full all on, like an all rights reserved copyright process, because it's a very cumbersome process. It can be very capital intensive, especially if you're producing a lot of artwork. Creative Commons is essentially, just making sure people are aware of what license is applied on that imagery. So I think that's super
Anybody
cool that
can
you guys
use
are thinking
this,
that way.
but it is yeah. And I pinned up at the top here from A16Z this standard for the licensing that you can see. Anybody can use this, but it is I think meant to be implemented for like the tooling of a mint platform.
We can have that for future reference when we get ready to
Yeah,
go
and let me just say this, like, when we first started building a marketplace for NFTs, we didn't know exactly like what the scope of work would look like at the end of the day, because we know like, how big of a feat it is to build something in comparison to what already exists out there as far as like the current market for Blur or OpenSea or LooksRare or any of these other platforms. So it really has like kind of become like uh, this big goal that we have like been undertaking to be able to build a platform in a different way than the other ones are being built, especially with like a retroactive rewards program integrated into the smart contract, and then having to build like a launch pad on top of the marketplace is like that's like a whole nother project to us. Just to let everyone know like the scope and the amount of work that we put into the platform so far. It has not been easy, and just our small little team of 3 developers, like I feel kind of bad for them. I wish we had like 1 or 2 more people to kind of help, but they are really great teammates and are getting the job done. It just I guess it could be a little bit easier with a little bit bigger team to try and accomplish what we're doing. And yeah,
Wow.
the funding has been quite finite, but our team is really like, they're all about what we're doing with public goods right now. So they're like fully on board. They want to help support this ecosystem and really enjoy like seeing the growth of Gitcoin or Optimism too. I think they're all kind of attracted to build in this ecosystem and contribute, which is really special.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I've learned through my experience, especially
Let's freaking grow.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know, right? That was very unexpected. But anyways, that's what I was saying. I've learned in my experience, especially in this space, that when you're building for something that's sustainable, you're building for something that's going to be long term. You're building for something that can be around for a decade, 2 decades, or even longer than that. That sometimes it is, or in most cases, I should say, not sometimes. In most cases, it is very much a process of building strategically, building incrementally, and taking your time to make sure that things are done right. So even with the small development team, I think you guys are amazing, for one, as we've gotten to know you through GG18 and GG19. But also, you know, I wouldn't stress about that, right? You need to make sure that it's done correctly. You need to make sure it's done based on your vision and mission. And yeah, let's grow. Go back over to you, and then I want to welcome our next two hosts to the stage. I've thrown out some microphones both to you, Refi DAO and Impact Market. So please join us on stage as we do the transition of hosts.
Yeah, this goes to Anastasia, I think, who is behind the Ecosynthesis account right now. You know, if there's like the urge to launch the project that she has ready before we kind of have like the launch pad, which is definitely a little ways out. We have been doing more like a custodial sort of minting process from our current website. So we could work our way through that and get that set up for her and get the project on there so they could be a part of the Fractal Visions launch pad that we have currently set up, which is not going to be anything close to what our actual launch pad will look like in the future, but a little bit more manual work and coordination to do. So yeah, happy to kind of, you know, team up with people one-on-one and do the grunt work before we get the full-on market and everything set up and get you going. So yeah, let's work together and through GG19 or through the new year, let's see what we can do.
Yeah, no doubt. And I don't know if you heard this or not, but we did share a little bit of alpha on the, you know, the early days of this broadcast, right? And I'll reshare it again too, because I think you're gonna geek out about this. So we are actually looking at bringing a developer on board who and maybe this is where collaboration comes in, right, with your development team, because they've built on other chains before, but they don't have any experience building on Optimism. But we're really pushing for them to build what would be the equivalent of a decentralized content delivery network to house all of our learning materials on the Optimism blockchain. I know they're currently building on Flow and a few other, well, Flow's not an EVM chain, but they're building on Flow. They've built on other EVM chains before. So I think the learning curve is going to be pretty slight for them. It's not going to be a steep learning curve for them. But that's what we're looking at doing on Optimism, along with our next mint cycle release for our Education Passport second semester, of which, you know, it's either going to come from our in-house creative art department as far as the artwork, or we're going to curate a new artist, bring a new artist into the fold and highlight their work as well. So that's what we've got going on. But I do want to give the floor and the stage to our co-hosts, our new hosts up here for this hour, Refi DAO and Impact Market. I'm guessing it's Monty and Suzanne.
Good morning.
Hello. I'm here.
Monty!
How are we doing?
Excellent.
Good.
Suzanne, are you here? Yeah.
Hi. Yes.
Oh my
Nice
goodness.
to see you all.
Yeah, good to see you too. One thing, if you want to hop in the video, bit.ly/Let's Grow Video. Jimmy has just posted imagery of Let's Grow in the sand. Whoa, that's amazing.
Love that. I might try and join the video. See what you guys
Do it
got going on.
up. Do it up. Videos where it goes down. Throwing down in the video.
Thanks for having me up here this morning.
What's
Yeah,
that?
Egley, thank you for providing some context.
Oh, who else is here? Up here. Oh, is that Iggly?
We're here.
Nice. Well, yeah, I actually just got off off a call with Griff, which was kind of interesting, and the Giveth. Am I still here? Hello?
You're rugging a little bit, but
You cut out a little bit, but you're here.
Cut out a little bit. Yeah, I was just on a call with Griff and Douglas as well, which was a really interesting call to see happen and hear the whole story of the founding of Giveth and Griff's journey as a kind of I mean, he was mentioning how he was a chemical engineer that then got really disgruntled with, as many of us are in the crypto space, with the way current governments, institutions, corporations were running the world, and thus became obsessed with Bitcoin and the potential of crypto to kind of create new systems and then basically from that journey towards founding the original DAO, the DAO, which was obviously, raised hundreds of million. Most of the entire Ethereum network obviously got put into it, and then the smart contract bug that then led to all of the stuff that I'm sure we all know about. But then, that then leading to Giveth, and I think they've got it's an interesting parallel community to Gitcoin, I guess. Obviously aligned in many ways, but with a different approach. It seems like Gitcoin have gone the more decentralized protocol kind of led way, which has its benefits, but then I feel like the UX and usability really suffers, which I think Giveth do an incredible job of in terms of their platform. And basically, they've also got some really exciting new quadratic funding rounds coming soon. I think the next one they're launching is a 100K round with Polygon.
Yes.
And some other rounds coming soon. So
Did you have to build on Polygon to enter that? Did you find that out? Steve wasn't able to tell us. But.
I think I just you have.
Bro, your internet is cutting. Please don't rug the space. Find more bars. Please don't rug us, bro. Find reception. You've got this, man. Just look at the bars. Run wherever you gotta run. Top of the hill, top of a building. Just don't get rugged. That's all we ask. Thank you. We appreciate you. Is anybody gonna come on video? We're welcoming. Oh, we got Utkarsh already in there. There he is. How are you on video when you don't have internet? Are you sure you're good to do both? You good? All right. It's good. Seems like it's good. Oh, yeah. You gotta turn off the volume on the computer. Montesaurus Rex is here. We're zoomed into the forehead. Hey, what's going on?
Here I am.
You gotta mute yourself on the stream. Boom. Oh wait. So do I. Whoops, my bad. Both of us didn't mute ourselves. Okay, we're good. We got the audio coming from the spaces. Happy days. Bam. All right, take it away, co-hosts.
Susanna, how are you doing? Is there anything resonant for you? Where are you at? What's going on in your world at the moment?
Yes, everything good around here at Impact Market. A lot of things going on. Well, shared a bit before with you. We have many pilots going on with the microcredit. I'm happy to see here Kamya. You see Kamya here in the audience. He's our microcredit manager, managing other mobile bankers in Uganda. So being very important for us in our strategy to bring microcredit to entrepreneurs in Uganda. He was previously a community manager. So we are really excited to see this movement that we are reinforcing with this new product, which is microcredit. So as shared, first we started with conditional basic income. I see some new faces in here from previous lives. So as Impact Market, we are building financial solutions to empower underserved communities in developing countries. We started with unconditional basic income. Then we are launching other services such as microcredit. We are providing small loans to entrepreneurs in Brazil, Uganda, Nigeria, and Ghana. What I was sharing about Kamya, it's one of these strategies. So now we are in pilot phase, testing several models to see what is more effective, how we can better scale and be more impactful and relevant for the people that we are serving on the ground. one of these strategies is having mobile bankers connecting with these people on the ground. So as if for the unconditional basic income, we used to have the community managers. So we were creating communities, which are smart contracts, and then plugging beneficiaries, which are crypto wallets, to these communities. And there is always community managers, both engaging the beneficiaries and doing actions to fundraise for their own communities. Kamya here, he was always very proactive and innovative when it comes to his role as a community manager, not only leading the organization he's leading, U2 in Uganda. So helping young people. I don't know if Kamya would like to come on stage. I can invite you here, and then if you'd like to share a bit of your experience, because we usually we are working on the core team of the product, but then something that we do as Impact Market, being present in around 30 countries, in all of these places that I shared. There was communities in Afghanistan, Uganda, Zimbabwe, Brazil, Venezuela. The real rock stars are those who are in the ground making the magic happen. And then Kamya, he's leading a whole team of mobile bankers who are also mainly coming from the communities, as with the previous experience as community managers, and they are doing the whole processes of identifying people on the ground who are could be eligible to get a microloan. So most of them are all entrepreneurs. So, and they go through a whole application process, selection process. They help on the onboarding of these people. So yeah, if you can get some time, I see that Kamya is now on stage. I don't know if you can speak, maybe share a bit of your experience first from as community manager, helping the community, and then a bit about your organization, and now in this new moment as mobile banker. Happy to have you here, Kamya. Welcome.
Okay, thank you so much, Susani. I'm glad to be here, and thank you to Let's Grow community and Gitcoin as well. As she said, my name is Oscar Martins Kamya, the founder of Youth Opportunities and Talent Uplifting. In short, it's YOTU. And also, like I'm a mobile banker, and I've been working with Impact Market since 2021 up to now, and everything has been like moving well, both on the ground and also when it comes to be a part of empowering human, as you know that we deal with vulnerable people. So like my experience as a banker at Impact Market, like it added a lot in my life. Reason being that I can associate with a lot of people, and as well I can look and detect what like a vulnerable could need in his or her life, something like that. So, and as well like it boosted me in each and every angle that like. I don't know how I can explain this, but so far my experience is just so wow, and I'm in love with like supporting vulnerable people, and so far the ground has been moving totally well, and as well trying to always appreciate the impact of Impact Market when it comes to empowering people. As you know that it's totally difficult to support humanity in a way that like these people are a bit different, because as you know that when you count something, then there is some other people that count it in other ways. So in order to detect what has to be worked on, it's always a bit difficult unless when we risk. So we have been trying in each and every way so that our pilots are moving well, and so far I think the journey is moving well, totally well on our system. So thank you so much for this opportunity, Susanna, and Let's Grow plus Gitcoin for the support that you give to these projects. Thank you.
I really invite you all to thank you, Kamya, for being here, for share a bit about your experience. For those who might be curious and to see more what we are doing on the ground, if you see, we are always sharing as Impact Market, but also if you go to Kamya's profile, he's always sharing some photos and inspiring stories of the beneficiaries that are receiving a BI, or also the the entrepreneurs that are receiving the microloan. And then, well, it's really, really touching. And then you see how this can make a difference from someone. For many of us here, sometimes $50, $100, $200 won't really make a difference for you. But for someone who's really struggling, who wants to have a new source of income to help the family, a single mother, someone who wants to invest in their farming, even a small amount makes a big difference. So we are super excited with this new product, the microcredit. For any of you here who I saw also many contributions from people here in the Let's Grow community to our grants. As Impact Market, we have 2 grants in this Gitcoin round, the Web3 communities and education, and the climate solutions. We are really going to use these grants to keep developing our products. A big focus also on education. We have a learn and earn platform having courses to bring financial education and web education about Web3 to all of these people on the ground, all of our users, then also to develop a conservation-based income. So yeah, you can see through all of our channels and people like Kamia a bit of the evidence of what we are doing. And also, as Monty was also asking, how was these days and how is everything? We also launched it yesterday. I also invite you whenever you go to Impact Market Twitter. Yesterday, we launched an amazing article that we have a current pilot running in Peru now. It's about to end. It was a 3-month pilot, and then it's like unbelievable. You can see in this article we shared, because we had some local producers taking some photos and videos. Pretty soon we're gonna launch like a mini documentary and some videos related to this, some more articles going deeper on this pilot. But we have more information about the community that is in the heart of the Peruvian Andes. People that you have a lot of people that have even like more than 50 years, and they're using crypto to make to buy food, to buy essentials in a village in the heart of the Andes. And this is absolutely beautiful, and I'm very excited to be part of this. Yeah, Monty, how was your week?
Wow,
so
super
far?
cool. I'm just looking at the article now, actually, and they seem to have these Impact Market credit cards. Like what?
Yes.
What are those?
Yes, it was in partnership with Amer Cards. So Amer, I don't know if you heard here, but it's a solution on the Cell network. They can create like the card. It's like a credit card, but it's like an NFC hard wallet. It's directly connected with your wallet on chain. And then for these people, for example, we're talking to people that are receiving these cards to use the UBI, because for many people, even us, sometimes it's hard to set up a crypto wallet, save seed phrases, and do transactions on chain. And then you receiving crypto, and then you have to convert to your local currency. So the objective of this pilot was, together with Amer Cards, Cello Foundation, and a local NGO called Agap Hands. So each one in this pilot bring what we do best. The NGO, so they help the selected which community would be benefited, help it selecting the beneficiaries participating, and then Amer Cards, they bring the cards, the NFC cards that are these crypto wallets where people could transact their UBI, and also some point of sales devices. 2 merchants, 2 ladies, they had like grocery shops, and you can also see some pictures of these shops in this article. So you see like this stand sometimes with just some fruits. They are now accepting transactions in crypto. So they received this POSs, and they were trained about it to provide the service for people, enabling a new form of payment. They only accepted cash before, and now it's definitely such a leap accepting crypto. And they also received microcredit to invest in their businesses. So we are both investing in the local economy, in the local merchants, and they are accepting transactions in crypto, giving to these beneficiaries receiving unconditional basic income with the cards an option to spend their UBI easily using the cards in these merchants, and then you're generating sales and profits to these merchants who can keep investing more in their shops. And then we really want to nurture a sustainable environment in here. And now that we are reaching the end of this pilot, we are opening now for applications for the people in the community who receive the UBI, the possibility of getting a microloan as well in Crucelo dollars, which is the currency that we use. So it's definitely a pilot that we are really in love with, and then considering expanding to other places, perhaps maybe bringing to somewhere else in Africa, because with Amer cards, it was really nice to see the way that it makes easier and smooth all of the processes of people using their crypto. Often it's like an important obstacle or a difficulty that we have to overcome.
Wow, so cool. I love seeing these cards and actual real world usage. It must have been, how do you even onboard the merchants though, and like get everyone at, like, do you have people on the ground then who are like local people who are able to speak the language and like onboard and like set up this whole system, right? It must be kind of complex.
Yes, we often have people on the ground, so not exactly often, well, it depends, because we used to have the ambassadors, and then the ambassadors, they were directly working with Impact Market and being the support to the community managers, to the local organization supported. In Peru, this organization that we are working, Agap Hands, we started working with them in 2021, and then when they created their first communities. So they are the organization there. They have the communities that we are supporting with UBI in Peru. And then based on this trust relationship that we built through these years, in understanding their work, their registered organization, doing an amazing work, especially on fighting hunger and poverty in Peru, with communities in different parts of the country, in the Amazon, in the mountains, and in the closer to the urban areas. So it was a good partner for us to set up this project. We also had an opportunity that we are talking to major organizations related to United Nations. Peru was definitely one of the countries we were considering on working together for a pilot with Impact Market to bring the user system for this decentralization of funds and cash disbursement to assist people in situation of need, especially in Peru. There is a lot of refugees from Venezuela, and then being a refugee, it's pretty complicated for you to somehow receive this assistance from other forms, because you don't really have a document, and then you can open a bank account. It makes much harder for an organization to reach you through cash-based transfers. And then Impact Market will come as a solution, because we with what we have, so the person creating a crypto wallet and receiving the assistance through our system. But in Peru, it's still quite in the early stages in terms of crypto adoption. So in the organization that we are working with, they have the volunteers as community managers, and they are assisting also on the cash out for the beneficiaries receiving UBI, because they sometimes need to have like at least 2 exchanges sometimes to do so they go to one exchange to change Celo dollars for Tether, and then to other to change for Tether for soles. So it's a bit complicated. So they are a bit used with the process. The community managers of these organizations, they already know Impact Market. And then they have community managers in this community that we are supporting as well. And even the president of this organization is directly supporting, so going through the onboarding with the people on the ground, everything.
Wow, amazing work. Kingfisher, you had your hand up there for a bit. Did you have a question?
I think she answered it through the course of the conversation. Thank you, though.
Cool. Okay. Happy then. Yes, it's definitely a beautiful project that we are together. So for those who haven't read the article yet, you can easily find it in our profile. We launched it yesterday. We are going to launch more information about it soon. As I said, we're going to have like a series of some videos going deeper in the costumes and the experience in this specific community. So yeah, we are very excited with this. And Monty, how is it going? Everything, the refi nodes and these rounds for refi DAO and EBF so far.
Yeah, it's been a challenging week. Apologies I didn't make it to the space yesterday, but yeah, just been dealing with some stuff, and needed to support a friend and things like that. But yeah, I mean, also just there's been a lot going on this week. Of course, the Gitcoin rounds, refi DAO, and a bunch of meetings, and there is some really exciting stuff going on, for sure. And so. Yeah, we're live on Gitcoin with refi DAO, and have been planning today. I had an initial meeting with some people we got together at Refi Week, and there's a kind of initial cluster of people who are wanting to be actively involved in helping to set the stage for a sprint that we're going to go on in 2024 to bring all of the local node community leaders together, and whoever really from the refi space that wants to be involved in the kind of co-creation of refi DAO 2.0, and the new kind of organizational governance, membership kind of structures. And so, yeah, just been doing some initial planning around that. Yeah, got our first kind of forum meeting with the wider kind of community to discuss that the week after Gitcoin. So been kind of preparing for that, and yeah, I mean it's been super nice over the course of this week to hear from so many different local nodes, and I think one of the things I'm really cool to do is elevate those voices more and kind of facilitate more connections between the different nodes. I think a lot of them have some really interesting ideas to share and want to contribute to the network, and we've got to work out what is the structure for how we actually coordinate the activities that we want to do together as a network, because there's so many different opportunities, right, with all of these local communities, and everyone has different ideas, and we've got to kind of work out how we prioritize our resources and the opportunities. And so yeah, that's going to be a big goal of mine over the coming weeks. But yeah, I see we've got Mars who's just joined as well. Hey Mars. But yeah.
Yeah, and then talking to Rika here from Refi Lisbon as well, he was sharing that he might launch the Refi podcast in Portuguese between today, or I think that it's in this day. So for all of the Portuguese speakers between us, if you were missing, some more Refi content in Portuguese, it's Planta R, the version of Refi podcast in Portuguese. It's about to be launched, so I'm pretty excited. Just waiting for this to be posted. I'll be featured in the first episode, so it's such an honor to be in this first one. Often talking about refi and explaining impact market in English, so it was quite a challenge to rethink some of the things. And to talk about it in Portuguese, my mother language, together with Catarina, who is also from Impact Market. So this is also something really cool coming from the refi space in this day. So for all of you, I think that a refi in Spanish is coming soon as well. Don't know if you're aware of this, of when, Monty, the refi in Spanish. We have a very strong Spanish
definitely.
community.
Yeah, so I think it's a nice journey that it's gone on in terms of the initial refi podcast that John has been kind of hosting, and season 3 is now well underway. That's kind of basically interviewed all of the leading figures from many of the leading refi projects across the space throughout the years, and it's been super exciting to see the season 3 go live and the episodes be published, and amazing kind of content there. But it's still we're thinking, okay, how can we expand this to have like a network of storytellers across the globe so that it's and more accessible in different languages? And so that has led as well to the kind of founding of Source Studios, which is being led by Lee over in Cape Town. John and I are also involved, but it's a kind of leading the production, the distribution, and the incubation of these of network of storytellers. And so the first new ones that are emerging alongside Refi Podcast are like you say, there's Rika doing the Portuguese podcast out of Lisboa, and which has been been brewing for a little bit, but it's exciting to hear that it's actually I hadn't had the latest in terms of it's actually coming out tomorrow. You're saying, Susanna, so that's really cool. Looking forward to that. And yeah, we've also got one coming out in Spanish led by Carla of the ReFi Costa Rica node, which is super exciting. That's been called the Vagabonds podcast, which is super cool. And another one is also with Chad Frischman, who is like quite an influential figure in the kind of climate space. He's, an author and not, comes from the more traditional impact and climate space, but is a super interesting guy, and he's doing one called Chad's Climate Quest. And again, I think this is the start of like building more bridges with the wider impact space beyond just the kind of close-knit Web3 and ReFi space, which is really exciting. So that's coming soon as well. And on that vein as well, I had a conversation or 2 days ago even with Doug Heskey of New Day Impact, and hopefully might be securing some funding for an EBF podcast. And that's going to be super exciting. The ecological benefits framework, for those who haven't heard me talking about it all week. And so, yeah, EBF podcast coming soon. And it'll be really exciting to see the connections that are built with the ReFi ecosystem and some amazing impact leaders as well, beyond the kind of Web3 space, but how that creates new bridges and connections. So there's going to be a whole universe of ReFi and impact content coming together in different languages, different topics, different leaders and experts from different sectors. And it was really exciting to see how that kind of evolves and really spreads the mission of ReFi and regeneration and let's grow, I guess.
Let's grow.
No, absolutely. Yes, it's amazing to see this movement of how this is growing. Not only, we see ReFi podcast with more and more new seasons with amazing episodes and bringing so many inspiring.
Oh, snap.
More new seasons with amazing episodes and bringing so many inspiring.
And we're back. Rugged. We got Riggedy Rug. Spaces rugged us. Come on now, Elon. Shimon Elon. I think this was...
Space got rugged.
Make sure if he's going to do it. Let's play some music.
Everybody know I
Let's
got
go.
Everybody know I got down. Everybody know I got
Everything's broken. It's not letting us start the space. Can you hear anything? Or can you write? It doesn't let me comment. It's not actually. I'll switch the app and try again.
Maybe just merge it with Bitcoin Community Radio or something.
No, it's okay.
When it's real, we can tell cause we see it in your eyes. Keep your war stories, homie, we don't believe in your lies. Long live the chill, the people need to feel something. Long live the chill, the people need to feel something. When it's real, we can tell cause we see it in your eyes. Keep your war stories, homie, we don't believe in your lies. Long live the chill, the people need to feel something. Long live the chill, the people need to feel something. Long live the chill, the people need to feel something.
Let's go. Simone back retweet. DM a friend. Comment. Tell your father, tell your neighbor, tell your sister, tell your dog. At the end, compete.
Feel something.
Don't worry, guys. We can give you a bit of extra time. I think Utkarsh doesn't have good reception. He's supposed to be after you, so no problem. We'll make up. I sent you guys co-host invites. Invite now, Impact Market. Everyone drop a comment. Give us a let's grow. We just got run. Hype, let's grow. Give us a love. Give us a retweet. DM, top right. DM a friend. We can get this puppet back up momentarily. Jack move, but when you pop an emoji to the beat, I pop it to the beat. Since they have the beat stops. wait for the beat, guys. Wait for the beat. You gotta wait for it. Wait for it. Alright, coming. It's coming. Patience is a virtue, guys. Alright, wait for it. Oh. There's one.
You have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service.
You guys check the visuals. This is made by Chloe D. Let's go! That was fun. We should get rugs here more often.
Congratulations, everyone.
We're back. Yo, it wasn't letting us start this space. We started right away. It was plugging for this part, then I went in. It was plugging for me. Oh, man. All right, everyone. Hopefully, let's grow. Only 3 of you. Same call. All right. We got 9 in here right now, and 3 of you. That's 30%. Have commented let's grow. Head to the comments, bottom right, in the oval, click the let's go, click the hashtag for bonus points, retweet while you're there, like it while you're there. When you're done with that, go to the top right corner and tap the DM. Invite by DM, guys. Tell your neighbors. Guys, you have to know about this. We're gonna go a movement here, guys. Nothing about. Watching you guys while I join from True Dungeon.
Well, that was fun. That was a little DJ. Jimmy loves DJing, doesn't he? Mixing in the chicken sounds.
How did you get those visuals? Like, they generated with the music?
Yeah, they're perfectly for the music. It was made by an artist called Crazy. So she organized a live stream, and this visual is from her. Like, I'm manifesting. I play Cozy a lot on these streams because I'm manifesting this Crazy with Renaissance Festival. Alright, so let's manifest, guys. Speaking of Renaissance, at 6 p.m. we're going to be doing the first one started with Renaissance. So come back tonight. But yeah, we'll give you some extra time, guys, because I know you got a little bit riggedy wood. So no worries, as you were.
Excited that we got round here.
Actually, I have a quick question about your setup, because one is the broadcast, one is the space, one is the StreamYard. I mean, you are doing some clever magic, and if you can just
excited that we got round here.
Actually, I have a quick question about your setup, because one is a broadcast, one is the space, one is the StreamYard.
Open your laptop.
I mean, you are doing some clever magic, and if you can just educate me, what is your flow of operations, which stream goes where?
They've been telling you, why do you experience it for yourself? Open your laptop, audio, bit.ly, bit.ly/let's grow video. bit.ly/let's grow video. You can see in the green room how we are sharing screen, how we are integrating the spaces audio into the video. It's called Talk Studio Streamlabs, and that's where we're broadcasting from. And also, sometimes we do shout outs to our channel partners. All right, shout out to Refi Dow, one of our channel partners. You guys love Refi Dow, you're going to hear all about them. And we love all the nodes as well. Then also, shout out to Bankless right here.
Dow.
All right, we're live on Bankless Dow's channel right now as well. Even though the space is rugged, we're still 24/7 nonstop because we got the video backing us up. Here we are. Look at these beautiful faces right here. All right, let's grow.
Ram, Mars, Refi,
now
Protostar in the
back
house,
to the audio
which is
space.
cool. So yeah, Mars, what's resonant with you today? How are you doing? Can you hear me, Mars? Maybe not.
I can hear you. Mars is just muted right now. He's probably trying to go to the website. YouTube's still growing, they're saying on YouTube. I don't know which YouTube channel, one of them. We're live on several. PP has stepped into the building. I assume that's you, PP? Mars, are you PP? That's the name of the person that just entered the green room. Let's see if we can hear from PP.
In the meantime, I'm sharing my screen. You can't see it, right? Dang.
No, we cannot see your screen.
Ram, did you manage to make the space yesterday?
Currently, I am on the mobile. I don't have an easy way to join on desktop right now. But I see myself as a part of nature. If there's the silence on the radio waves, Twitter waves, cyberspace waves. Today was another day when I was on the front line of climate action, Just Stop Oil protesters marching on the road, being arrested by the police. So yeah, I'm doing what I can with what I have. Part of it is, direct action, putting pressure on the criminal government. And then there's another approach, which is, Web3, refi, working on the solutions. And I think that both approaches are correct. And I'm very, very super happy, privileged that, yes, I can join the space, share some positive energy. And just by being in this Twitter space gives me so much joy and belief and excitement.
That's amazing to hear. What actions were you doing today with Just Stop Oil? Or not? Ram, were you going to say something?
Yeah, no, just answering your question from before. I was on the spaces at this time yesterday. We went into a pretty deep philosophical conversation about cycles of mass extinction, amongst other things, and it was very interesting.
Nice, deep philosophical discussion about cycles of mass extinction. Your everyday kind of convos. I mean, that is actually kind of my everyday convos with my family, to be fair. Don't know about you guys and your families, but that is literally what we talk about most days. Just this lunch,
Most
actually.
days? It's so grim.
No, I mean, well, different angles of it. I mean, today we were talking about what are the realistic pathways to actually address the climate crisis, and how that's also intertwined with the wealth gap and social issues, and how that kind of plays a role in this as well. And like, I guess one of the points that I was kind of making is having extreme wealth inequality also like distorts the kind of economic system, so that we just end up producing like yachts and mansions and Rolexes with our finite resources, and that's where the money is, as opposed to like public goods and protecting the environment and doing all these things that actually creates far more value for far greater number. But our current economic system doesn't reward or incentivize those in the same way. So there's kind of a recognition that there's something kind of really broken with our current system, and what is the best pathways we can get towards actually trying to fix some of those problems. And I think Mars's point kind of touches on it for me as well. I think we've got to explore the solutions that we're all exploring in the Web3 space and the refi space, in terms of, can we build new systems that are better and replacing some of these legacy systems, and redistributing resources in certain ways, and creating these kind of bottoms up networks and communities and new technologies, etc., etc. But also, I think there's very much space for how we can protest and use our right to kind of voice, and even more extreme actions as well. which I think also have a place given the reality of the kind of crisis that we're facing, and the active subversion of the solutions that we need by people in positions of wealth, power, and privilege. So, yeah, kind of heavy stuff, but I don't know if that's bringing up any thoughts or in people.
I propose having Monty's family dinner table conversations as a Twitter space hour, to be honest.
Well, that would be quite funny, although I'm not sure we'd want everything that's being said public. I don't know, we might get put on some list somewhere or something.
Oh, what else are you talking about?
Well, I mean, my brother and I always joke about, how we could, blow up a pipeline or something. I don't know.
I mean, would do the job, but actually, no. What are we saying? We blow up a pipeline, then it's going to spill.
There's actually a whole movie on this about how
you think you're like
it's called
helping?
"How to Blow Up a Pipeline," and it's a movie you can watch. That's
Wait, but so
like
it
a
doesn't
drum.
spill when you blow it up?
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's a book on it actually. It was a book that they
ruin
turned
the
into a movie.
environment. Trying to...
It's a fiction book that they've turned into a movie, but also does contain like these are the steps. But I think it's interesting. I think it ties into like a larger narrative. I mean, I read recently The Ministry for the Future, and these kind of acts I think will start to happen as the climate catastrophe continues to unfold. And I don't know if anyone's read The Ministry for the Future, but in it, it starts with a heat wave in India that ends up killing tens of millions of people. And the result of that heat wave is that these, I guess you could call, climate extremist groups that then, pursue various forms of radical action, and even going into the realm of geoengineering, where they launched methane, not methane. What's the chemical? Is it sulfates? I don't know. That you launch into the atmosphere that reflects sunlight to geoengineer, cool the earth, and so yeah, I don't know. Just an interesting kind of potential, kind of scary thing that we're going to see. I think in our lifetimes, these quite radical actions happening in response to the unfolding crisis. But we in the refi space, we operate more in the solution space as well. Being wary, I think, of these terrifying things that we do face, but actually trying to be pragmatic about it, not getting overwhelmed. And actually developing tangible solutions that we can actually implement today. So I don't want to get all doom and gloom, but I think it's important to bear some of that in mind as well at the same time.
So how would it be that how could it be a region way to blow up a pipeline? Because now if you blow up a pipeline, you will spill, right? So I was thinking maybe freeze a segment of a pipeline so everything starts getting frozen, and then the oil gets frozen, stuck on the pipeline forever, and there's no way to take it out and no way to just. But
Lucius is really thinking hard about this.
but then what if you freeze all
freezing it? Is that the idea?
What if you freeze the vegetation around the pipeline?
But what's the freezing point of oil? I don't know.
You have to stop it from spewing out.
You just freeze it inside, and then it won't be moving. So then people won't use oil anymore. Well, that company won't continue taking oil because it's frozen. So I don't know. I'm just thinking. I don't know.
You're thinking really serious about this.
Just another way.
Let's not incriminate ourselves.
No. It's just an exercise of saying what would
broadcasting this everywhere, guys. One blows up tomorrow.
I'm opting out. I'm opting out of this mission.
I hereby do not concur.
I think we should make a new carbon credit methodology that is based on disruption to fossil fuel infrastructure.
Yeah, you gotta hack into the coal mines and disrupt, and based on our methodology, you did a good job at costing them 10 days.
And then hyperset that shit.
Wait, what if there was a pipeline for public goods?
Yeah, but it's still oil. It's still oil.
No, but you're saying we could start delivering. I don't know.
I think the problem is in the extraction. I think instead of freezing the pipeline that sorts all the countries, I would just freeze the extraction pipes on specific platforms in the sea, and maybe they will be like, oh my god, it's frozen. We can't afford to build another platform, so we'll just leave it there.
You don't even need to explode it. If you can freeze their oil.
Yeah, but what do you propose here? A giant refrigerator that we kind of wrap around?
No,
the
you
pipe,
need like hydrogen or whatever that that
Maybe
thing that instantly
we
turns
could
stuff
use
into
like
ice.
we could pinch that pipe to
oil
generate
freeze?
enough energy to freeze it, and then it's like ever going freezing because it's still, I don't know. I mean, I will think about it.
Look into some rapid freezing solutions, and then let's do it. That's our new Gitcoin startup. We're gonna be freezing the pipelines, baby. Hey,
donate to
Let's freeze.
Freezing
this is a
pipelines.
climate solution.
Yo, it says -20 is freezing point for oil.
Yeah,
We've got extra work to do.
-20. That's a lot. That's a lot. Not gonna lie. Not gonna sugarcoat it. That is a lot of coldness. But it's not impossible.
We need Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze, huh? All right.
Sorry. That's all I
just redirect that oil into the core of Earth, like into the center. So we just need to make a deeper hole and just redirect it down in order to, I don't know, maybe we'll build again. Not sure. We'll have to find a solution there.
On a different note, Ram, I know we spoke today earlier on our RefiDAO 2.0 kind of scoping call. I'm just curious. We didn't get the chance to talk about any updates in terms of. I know you were dealing with the wine of the DAO that you were involved with, and curious to hear any updates on that if you're able to share, or how that process is going. Because I know you were trying to hopefully get it done before Christmas, I think. Is that right? Are you still with us?
Yeah. Hey, sorry, I'm just walking home. Yeah, so for context, the DAO that I'm currently working with recently voted to wind down. So I've been helping with that whole process, creating guides and documentation for people to kind of do what they need to do to get out of the protocol, for example. But yeah, I mean, in terms of my role there, it'll be wrapping up towards the end of this year. And then hopefully I'll have some more time to work on the future of RefiDAO, and I suppose using my time for more climate solution, blockchain for good related projects, but focusing on the governance side, as that's my domain expertise.
Love it. Love that. Yeah, very excited to continue exploring that journey with you. Yeah. What's next for other people in the call then? I haven't really met Igly before properly.
Hey, my real name is actually Glenn.
Glenn? Well,
yeah.
Hello, Glenn.
Hey, Monty, what's up? I've listened to you plenty of times through the podcast here, and remember you from previous rounds as well.
Nice. Well, hello.
Hey, yeah, my partner Alicia and I, we created Fractal Visions. You might have seen our project on Gitcoin. But we're like traditional art creators and have a traditional art printing business, and we're slowly integrating with Web3. So yeah, we've kind of like come into the space with previous kind of regen aspects to our business with like royalty redistribution for other artists that we worked with before, because we would be manufacturing the Giclée canvas prints and shipping them out for other artists, and saw blockchain as kind of a nice way to show transparency for that work that we do. That's really related to like making impact, because we're cutting out the manufacturing process of third-party manufacturers and able to pay the creators a lot more as far as what they get from the sales. So yeah, that's something that kind of attracted us to the space, other than it just being a good store of value to like keep our money safe, because we were definitely having a lot of problems with traditional banking. And yeah, now we're building a marketplace that's all related to public goods and the ethos of the retro PGF on Optimism, and aligning the values of the marketplace that we're building with sort of regen type of theme, I guess you could put it, but still keeping like the audio visual aspect and also throwing artificial intelligence into the mix. So yeah, we're really focused on funding what matters, and we put a lot of our own energy and our resources from our physical business into the development of our marketplace with a few developers. We hired Jerome on last December from Bankless DAO. He's our UI UX head developer, and I've worked with him for the past year to kind of build fractalvisions.io. If you go to that website there, that'll take you to our beta MVP. We're currently testing that with our core engineering team, and starting to dog food our own product with our own collections. A lot of our own collections also donate money directly to Retro PGF on Optimism. I think there's like 10 of them at least. And now we're starting to direct funds to Quadratic funding matching pools for our own grant rounds starting in January. So we're also operating our own grant rounds as well with the Gitcoin grant stack. But yeah, really here to kind of like just revamp what we know as NFTs for good, and kind of set an example for other creators and builders that are coming into the space with incentive rewards systems like Optimism offers with the Retro PGF, reiterating that with our own retroactive marketplace rewards that are generated by the marketplace fee itself, similar to how the network uses or captures the sequencing fee for their retroactive rewards program. So yeah, that's really like what we're doing with like a little bit of a creative twist on it.
Super cool. I've just been checking out the website now. Love some of the graphics that you guys have made for each of the different Gitcoin rounds, it looks like. Impact NFT marketplace, super cool.
Yeah,
super cool
actually,
stuff.
Those are NFTs that we actually airdropped to everyone that donated in the last round on Optimism, and everybody should have them in their wallets. So they should be able to, at the very least, go to the website, and if you go to the user profile, you can connect and at the very least see the NFTs in your wallet. Right now, we're working with Quill to set up our decentralized database, so we could store the users' data on a decentralized network with Quill. And then we're going to be doing the smart contract stuff after that. So yeah, we're pretty close to launch, and really utilizing our own resources to kind of build the product along with grant funding. I mean, we're mainly fueled by Retro PGF from Optimism. We're in round 3 right now, going through that grant round as well at the same time as this grant round. And I was also part of the Arbitrum domain round for Gitcoin and the Gitcoin Citizens round. So I've just been going nonstop since GG18. Actually, I have not stopped campaigning since GG18.
Yeah, it feels like that as well. It's like there's a new term. It's called like the quadratic freelancer, and I feel like a lot of us in this space are maybe part of that definition a little bit, involved in multiple projects and raising through these new public goods funding mechanisms. Is it's a really interesting experiment, I guess, about how we can build crypto economic public goods funding systems with some of the funding that's being generated by the underlying blockchains, and then how that gets distributed and filtered out in a way with community participation and democratic allocation mechanisms is a really interesting experiment. And comparing that to kind of legacy public goods funding systems, of which I think there are some currently merits on both sides and some real opportunities for crypto to innovate and do better. But I feel like it's still very much at the learning kind of phase as well, and there's a lot of work to do, I think. But it's super interesting to see how many different mechanisms and experiments there are going on. It's one of the things I was just talking about with Griff is there are so many now different opportunities, whether it's with like Arbitrum's round, whether it's now with Giveth or Octant or Gitcoin or etc., and then all of the different chains and the L2s and all of these different sources of funding that actually and we're going to see so much more of that now. This technology is now being made more accessible, right? And so what does it look like when there's like 30 different Gitcoin or quadratic funding rounds all the time in different places? I think spaces like this are going to be more in demand. But
I mean, there's a reason.
times.
There's a reason we didn't call it Gitcoin Live, right? This can be plugged into any public goods funding mechanism: Optimism, Retro PGF, Giveth, any of these QF.
Jimmy, you're on mute.
Oh no.
No, I can hear Jimmy.
Yeah, I can hear Jimmy.
Uh-oh. Wait, Okash, you came from the Earth page, not from the Let's Grow page, right? Because technically you're shooting slot, but I did take over when you had connection issues. Can you hear me? No, obviously you can't. So just tell him to jump down and jump back up.
Yeah, Ukarash, jump down and jump back up. That should work. And hopefully then you can hear everyone.
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing. As far as like being a part of this movement here, I really am also focused on like the UI, the UX aspect of it. So I've been really hyper focused on that with Gitcoin as well as with Karma HQ. I got to help beta test for Karma HQ and raise bugs for them, which then got integrated into Gitcoin, which I didn't really know about, but yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I would really encourage other people to focus on that aspect to help improve the UX for everybody else out there.
Could you overview what Karma HQ actually does, if possible?
Oh, sure. Yes. So are you familiar with the Ethereum attestation station?
Yeah.
So they basically built their platform with the Ethereum attestation station. When you go to Karma, you can basically just go set up your project. When you're doing that, and you sign a transaction, you're creating attestation on chain and interacting with the EAS smart contract that has their attestation for Karma on it, of course. So it's a series of different smart contracts that are interacting and recording your data on chain. Then basically anytime you create milestone or grant on Karma and then update those milestones, you're creating attestations on chain. So that's really what it's being used for. We're also looking into this for our front end development. The Retro PGF, if anybody is familiar with retroactive funding on Optimism, their application process for this round was actually done with the Ethereum attestation as well. So if anybody applied to that, you're also creating attestations on chain by doing that. So yeah, that's really what it's used for, to record data on chain with EAS.
So I guess a better way to kind of record impact, and then that should, in theory, better inform future RPGF decisions, given that all of these decisions should be based on stuff that's already happened and impact that's already been carried out.
Sure. Yeah, and also, you're creating a profile, not just on Optimism. I mean, the thought is really to go across chain to the rest of the super chain, sort of like entities that are forming, and that will help verify your human identity. They also do have off-chain proof storage through the Ethereum attestation station, so you can store data off-chain as well to help create some privacy. So take, for instance, you could create like some sort of requirement with a query on the Ethereum attestation station using Guild. And Guild is like it's a token gating platform, but they have an integration with Optimism's Ethereum attestation station, and then you can create a role based around a specific on-chain activity through that integration for a member in your community or for a member role of governance. Many different ways that you could choose an action on chain to record an attestation. So yeah, we're also going to build attestations into our actual platform, so that way it's thickening that profile of an individual to verify they're a human. I think Gitcoin Passport also is kind of working their way with the attestation station as well.
Nice, that's really helpful. Another thing that you were mentioning before was about how for your project you airdropped NFTs to previous donors from Gitcoin grants round 18. Did I understand that correctly?
Yeah, anyone on Optimism received NFT in their wallet. This is NFT that I created with AI, and then themed each NFT with the title of each round, and then I sent those out using Third Web is the mechanism that I use to deploy the smart contracts and then send all the NFTs out. I put like a full day of work into doing this, and then spent a little bit of gas money on Optimism, but it was really, really cheap and easy to do. And all of the funding from the secondary sales goes to Retro PGF on Optimism, so it's all going towards public goods if there's any secondary sales.
Nice. And then are there any tools you use to actually get that list of donors? Because I was thinking, I mean, Monty, you and I were having this conversation yesterday, but about ways to create like further perks and incentives for people to actually participate in these rounds. And now you've got tools like Joke Race coming up, which is quite an interesting way to kind of incentivize community engagement and governance participation. But the way you can create these contests on Joke Race is by uploading an allow list of people like who are eligible to participate in these contests. And I was wondering if there was a way to kind of populate that allow list based on grantees from previous Gitcoin rounds.
Sure. Yeah, this is a great question because I've always been searching out there for like a really good snapshot tool. And nobody's ever really provided me with that. There was one person that had a project at ETH Denver a few years back called, I think it was called like Block Snap. I don't think it's live anymore. The website's not live. I contacted the developer at one point in time because it wasn't working properly for me. And ever since then, wasn't able to find anything until I asked ChatGPT. And I said, "Hey, ChatGPT, how do I get, the addresses from a contract of something particular like this?" And it told me to go to Etherscan, and then all I had to do to find the contract address for each round is if you go to each round in the browser, it actually tells you the contract address as the URL. So you can use that URL contract address from each round to then look up on Etherscan that contract address and see everybody that interacted with it and just download the CSV.
But is that contract address specific to each project in the round, or is it just the round as a whole?
You could do that with each project too. If you go to like the project page, you see when they create like the project, that then you'll be able to utilize that specific address for the projects as well if you want to do just projects. Yeah.
Nice, super helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, that should work just fine.
May I weigh in on this question as well?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Ram, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but Idris did set up a mail chain for all the grantees in GG18, and they did send out specific to each grantee a list of the addresses that contributed to their funding.
Yeah, and IDRIS was also really helpful as far as getting those addresses to MailChain too. So I know that if you have any other questions about like donors to rounds, that they're also really helpful with that info too.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
So folks would have to sign into MailChain to see that message, right? It's not like it's
correct. Yeah,
very
but
likely.
there's IDRIS shortly after GG18, I don't know, it might have been a couple weeks, they did put a post on their profile page. So I'll see if I can find that.
Why doesn't IDRIS just do like a push notification? They already have it on everyone's Chrome browser. You know what I mean?
Did
That'd
they
be
do
a good...
push? I didn't see a push. I saw.
No, I'm saying they should. They should do a push notification because no one's going to go to MailChain. Like, this is not going to happen. I mean, realistically, maybe 1% will do that. Right?
Yeah, well, I guess I'm a 1%er. So
yeah,
you're a special one.
I had to get pushed to go to MailChain.
Yeah, exactly. They'd be like, hey. Yeah, so, but it obviously they have to opt in. Like, not everyone's going to opt in for notifications, but it can like ask you, hey, do you want to opt in for notifications? Boom, happy days, you do that. And then you could actually send messages to grantees, give them updates. Like, I totally opt in for your friggin' updates, guys. Tell me what you're biddling with all my grow nations. We'd love to know. So, yeah, I think a communication channel would be great. We should get IDRIS on here. Maybe suggest that to them. I've been suggesting ideas to the Gitcoin Passport team. Now we should do it to the IDRIS team. Everyone, just bring them on here and just like, yo, this would be a cool feature. Build it. I also connected someone who does like Web3 messaging with John back when I was at ETH Safari, and I connected them to hopefully connect to the product. But I guess, yeah, nothing happened from that. But the guy was super confident that he could pull that off. Oh, we got Extinct joining us up here. Is it time for a musical interlude?
And Igly, correct me if I'm wrong. You guys use what is it, DM3, right? For on-chain messaging.
Their service is not yet integrated into our platform, but that is what we're planning on using for the widget for the support chat. It is like a decentralized messaging service that then if other messaging services in the Web2 world also use it, you can message off-chain to on-chain, and it also does cross-chain messaging, which I found is really interesting. Yeah. But it's very developer heavy as far as like the work that you have to do with it. That it's not really like plug and play. So yeah,
gotcha. Well, I did see them in the open software, the open source software round. So I immediately thought of you and what you're building. So yeah, maybe 6 months down the road, that's a viable solution for most everyone.
Shill it forward. DM3.
Love that. Ukurash, how's your space doing? Have you managed to get better signal yet? I know you were gonna host in a sec. I'm probably gonna hop in a sec. Go get some dinner.
Yeah, I mean, I've been here. I was getting some disturbance when Jimmy and Kingfisher were speaking. So I think I've done the off and on twice. As of now, it looks good. Also, my bad on rugging that space. The space just hung on the phone, like nothing was moving, so I had to can it. But yeah, it seems stable for now. I'm also there in the video. I don't know. Yeah, I'm there now, and yeah, I'm good to take it over.
Let's grow.
Let's go. Let's go.
I will rotate co-hosts. All right. Bam, bam, bam. Enjoy your food, good sir.
Hope you eat some. I had honest greens today. First time I had honest greens was with Monty. He introduced me to it. Actually, I don't know if that was his idea, but those honest greens, oof, just what the body needs. That's what's up. That's what's up. I hope you have some regenerative goodness. I've got the sticker on my laptop. Regeneration begins within. It does begin within. All right, enjoy. Good stuff.
Yeah, but I think bunch of interesting points were coming up in specifically in terms of what Monty was talking about and Iggy was talking about. Like we are going to have, we have already we have 4 to 5 public good funding mechanisms and organizations doing that right now, and this is probably just going to continue growing. And in that situation, I feel like tools that are going to allow us to port, let's say, your earlier impact or your earlier reputation from one source or org to another are going to become more and more critical. And I do believe that the what Allo Protocol v2 is trying to achieve is at least to end up becoming the back end of all the project repositories that then can go seek public funding, public goods funding from across various orgs. So in some sense, that's like the one repo that we have where you can then see, that's what is there right now in Builder, right? You build your project repo over there and then you apply to different grants. And the idea is that this would be the one place where you do all the project description, and then you can take that project description and keep on updating it, and then take it to, let's say, Giveth or to Optimism or to Octant or to Clearfund or to whoever else wants to fund it. So, and I feel like that plus EAS, Ethereum Attestation Station, giving you those karma points, both of them together does build that stack. It does build, it does show all your past work. It does show how you're evolved, and it does also show how much you've been able to raise collectively from all sources, and then the output that you've given. Because at times it's necessary to know right now if these funding mechanisms don't talk to one another, it's going to be difficult to quantify the eventual impact. And with this, I feel like it's everyone feeding into the same thing. So there is full transparency in terms of what's happening. And at the same time, you're able to grow within a lot of different public good funding mechanisms. Yeah, Igli, go ahead.
Yeah, this is a really good point. It also, I think, comes down to the fact of seeing how many grant programs that someone is also attesting to in all the different ecosystems. And when is the right time to maybe exit after you've raised a certain amount of funds too. I think that is something that could be used to kind of judge that overall eagle's eyesight view of the public goods ecosystem in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of split on this. I do believe that there are a lot of projects that are consistently providing public goods, and maybe those projects don't need a revenue stream and they don't need to exit, and we just need to continue funding them. Whereas there are a whole bunch of projects that this can act like their seed or source capital to get them to a PMF stage, and then either they become self-sustainable or then they go and raise more venture capital and so on and so forth. But I have seen, I think if you also follow all those that were getting getting funded by the Ethereum Foundation for all the work that they were doing, a lot of that was zero revenue possibility. Even in terms of, let's say, media or creating tools that people end up using, all of those things led to the creation of an ecosystem where that was never going to have a revenue. So there, I feel like it's fine if you're continuing to fund the team because we're all using their services. but in a lot of instances, there is a very clear ability to demonstrate like viability and have sustainable business models, and that should be then it should evolve into something like that. But I think transparency amongst all these public funding organizations is key to be able to spot out bad actors that are probably just like putting up a face and trying to extract funding from all possible mechanisms. And yeah, there is no accountability then in that situation. So yeah, I mean, the plus side here is that if anyone digs deep enough, everything does become transparent. But like surfacing all of that to take the right decisions is also necessary. So yeah, I'm personally like supremely stoked about what's happening because I think I've said this a bunch of times. We would not have been here had it not been for Gitcoin, and it is still the very case. And I'm sure a lot of other people in the space would also be able to attest to that. But the beauty is that now there seems to be like a plurality of funding mechanisms coming up, and you just probably need to find which ones align the most and which organizations align the most with your project, and then like build your base over there, and then like start getting active in those ecosystems and take it forward. I think it's quite remarkable to see the kind of projects that will blossom out of something like this, because most often my biggest problem with a lot of other grant dispersals has been that like you are at the end of the day like you have to either like really align with their thesis and you have to like word it accordingly, and like the ones that are allocating need to feel for you. It's not a very neutral mechanism, and I mean, people might shit on QF every now and then, but I think, in my opinion, it's been one of the most transparent and the most neutral ones of whatever else is existing out there. Not to say that this cannot become better, but yeah, I feel like for whatever else is out there, this does a far fantastic job. All right, so I feel like this is our hour, and what we had planned for today was to have a discussion on what does regeneration translate to for you, because I feel we're all here for this. We're all here to like build a regenerative society, build regenerative economics, build all these regenerative frameworks. I was very curious to see how right now in your day-to-day life, like what does regeneration translate to? And when we talk about building this regenerative future, how do you see this happening? Because there are several verticals, and I feel like everything needs to shift. How do you envisage regeneration amongst different critical verticals of our society, like shaping up?
Crickets.
Yo, it got too hectic.
Crickets.
Got too
You
hectic.
blew
I
all
saw
our
it.
minds, bro.
I
Pieces
see
of our
Impact
brain
has
was
their mic
scattered
open.
across
Is
Wait a
the
minute,
Impact
hall.
on stage?
was that an open-ended question to anybody on stage? I don't know.
Yeah, you asked
Yeah, I
specific
feel like,
ones,
maybe
specific people.
raise hands and then shoot, go for it.
Grow for it.
My bad, grow for it. Yeah, yes, we got a first. Igly, go for it. Grow for it.
Okay, regeneration to me is it's like the regrowth. It's like new energy coming in to regenerate, of course, the old decayed material, and use the available resources or nutrients to create something that's new and fruitful. So let's see how. What was the second question? It was like, how are we going to implement regeneration into what we do? Is that it?
I think a better way to phrase that question would be for everyone to pick one part of society. Let's say if you're picking art, or if you're picking like, if you just, yeah, let's say if you're picking art, like how do you envisage the entire industry becoming more regenerative? Like what does that look like?
Okay. Yeah, as far as, let's just say, the like Web3, like NFT, crypto, DeFi, refi space, I think it would be great to have more of like a focus on the formula of impact over profit with a lot of the things that we do. And really focusing on less capital being made, and yeah, just I think more of like self-sacrifice, and in a way to create sustainability. So I guess that would be one way that we could regenerate the old legacy financial systems that are kind of crumbling down around us, is to layer this new financial system, and build these new networks and these digital cities of people across the globe through the internet to regenerate what we do, and how we interact, and help break down the digital divide that was keeping us from being able to help one another like we were before.
All right. I feel like I'll get back to you. Kingfisher, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I echo all of Igley's sentiments. And then the only couple things that I would add to that is one, leading by example. Two, allowing our participation, our activity to be reflective of our actions. And this is going to speak to your heartstrings, Utkarsh. Burn fiat, burn petro for earth.
Well, yeah, that's my idea of regeneration. So I feel like that's what I was trying to understand. We are all here from different spaces and different walks of life, and when we talk about building a regenerative society, like all these different verticals need to become regenerative. So I feel like, maybe trying to get some insights from Igli into what a regenerative artistic space looks like. As in, I'm talking about the entire like ecosystem, I'm not just talking about like a particular place, but like how does the artistic ecosystem become more regenerative? And for me, I think if I have to just talk out loud, it is for us to build a basic support system to promote the arts and crafts, because I feel like I know I come from India, and it's this land is just filled with insane craftsmen that have been happening for like centuries and centuries. But come today, like there is no ready market. We've all moved on to like other things, and then all those artisans and craftsmen, like their art and crafts are slowly like withering and disappearing. So I really do believe that like it behooves us as a society to ensure that all those craft forms do survive, that they do continue to thrive. But it's just that the current market forces maybe do not make room for all of that, and I really do wish that like we are able to reframe economics to make room for something like that. It doesn't always need to be like patrons who are supporting it. I think the society in itself needs to support something like that. And I've always seen that like, yeah, it's such a, I mean, yeah, all of us struggle, but I feel like as an artist, it's difficult to make ends meet just with your like art. And I do hope that that was not the case, because the world definitely needs more artists, and we need to like see the world through their eyes. And yeah, it's that's at least my take on the art space. But Kingfisher, like, how do you probably want to like see what does a regenerative media space look like?
Wow, that's a heavy question.
Heavy question.
Heavy question. Regenerative media. That's a great one. I'm gonna have to put some qualified thought into that one. I can tell you about how I think regenerative education could look like, right? You guys have heard me talk about how we view regenerative education, that it goes beyond just the education about the regenerative movement, about regenerative practices, about regenerative initiatives, but also to make the education itself regenerative, right? So as far as regenerative media, that's a good one. And I'm gonna put some more thought into that. I'll get back to you on that one, brother.
Cool, cool. I mean, yeah, this is just everything off the top of my head, and like this is it's because we speak about like building a regenerative society so much. I think it's also important to like get down to the nitty-gritties and see like what does this translate to essentially, and yeah, it's a fun thought exercise in my head. So yeah, we have Guru back up, brother. I have been missing talking to you. I feel like we're just hosting and stewarding different time slots, and Gitcoin craziness has taken over. So, yo, what's up?
It's all good, brother. I know we've been busy, but yeah, I just wanted to chime in, maybe add a little bit of from my perspective into what regenerative media could look like, because I feel like the fundamental thing that we're addressing is the story that people believe in, and I think we have a role there in terms of what media can do. It has a good power in terms of what people think and what people believe. So a lot of times now
Distorting hard.
we see how people um, what people value is, like, say, it's money, right? Most of society is valuing things in different ways, which is not entirely aligned with the goals of where we want to be. So we can change the story, we can help them, we can bring forth stories which are inspiring and make them feel optimistic about the future, and also make regeneration cool, like making things like making art can be cool, like uh, growing food in your house can be cool, protecting forests can be cool. So yeah, I think we can play a role there in terms of how what media can do. So yeah, that's my just riffing off the top of my head.
Yeah, Guru, let's grow.
Let's grow.
So, I have to be honest, I was facing some major signal issues and I've got half of that. So, but I am going to stretch my brain cells and try and connect the dots on what you said. And yeah, please correct me if I'm just talking through my ass. But yeah, at the end of the day, I feel like it's the story that we are creating and trying to value the right things. And yeah, man, I feel that's why. Like it's so weird. It's that's why blockchain and crypto end up being such interesting technologies because at the core of it, yeah, okay, there's obviously a lot of improvement, but I do see them as social technologies. Like the reason that everybody keeps on talking so much about it is because I think it has the ability to rewire how we coordinate, and it has the ability to have different kinds of programs of coordination. So yeah, that in itself is quite powerful, but I think the reason it needs hammering is because we've not, I personally have not been brought up with a mindset that you could, totally restructure how society operates. It's always left to the the elites or the politicians or the people in power, and now it's like that power has been democratized, and I'm quite excited for all experiments that come out which are trying to like revalue things because I mean, let's admit it. I feel like capitalism did get a lot right, but it's also got a lot wrong. And we've always always, if you look at like art movements or political movements or like philosophical movements, there has always been evolution. There is thesis, antithesis, synthesis, and that just keeps on continuing. And I feel like, cut to 21st century right now, we have seen a lot of different things play out. And in some sense, having an aligned goal in terms of where we want to get at, and then trying to design systems that would probably help us get there fast, I mean, better, is where we are right now. And yeah, it's exciting that we live in times where like a bunch of nerds across the internet can come together to do something like this. Yeah, go ahead,
Love
Guru.
it. Quick PSA. Everybody head to the comment section, that purple oval in the bottom right. Type "Let's grow." Make sure you capitalize "grow." Bonus brownie points if you put a hashtag before it. Hashtag "Let's grow." While you're there, may as well retweet, may as well like, give it some love, may as well DM a friend, tell your father, tell your sister. Let's give away some NF trees, shall we? Some NFTs that are growing the movement. We got 17 in the space right now, and tons
You
of people
forgot
on
to tell
video
your
across
mother,
Europe.
tell your brother.
Tell your brother, tell your neighbor, tell your cat.
You can also tell
Whoever you can
your
tell. Okay, random number generator. Okay, it's between 1 and how many now? Okay, 1 and
what
extinct
if the number is 6 again?
3. It's 3, which is myself. We're doing that again. It's 15. Okay, so 1 from the end. Oh, the project. I wish you had a PFP. But what? All right, the projects. Congratulations. DM me. Yeah, or DM Carbon Counting Club. Okay, that is James McGee, JamesMagee. Was that no? That's not it, is it? what's Carbon Counting Club? Carbon.
Yeah, it's
Counting.
carbon counting. It's Evergreen Coin or it's Carbon Counting Club, I think.
Man, Twitter search is not good. Okay, you know what? Oh yeah, it's Evergreen Coin _ Okay, so if you're listening, which I hope you are, I would DM you if I could, but your DMs are not open. We're gonna give. Let's try to do this every hour at least. Okay, sorry. As you were, Guru. Go ahead. Grow right ahead. Also welcoming up to the stage, Jacob. Welcome. Grow ahead, Guru.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, so
Jacob also on
Hola,
the video.
Jacob. Hola.
So I just wanted to build on that. You said like a lot of people believe the elites are only capable of changing the world, right? I've seen like instances of that actually. I was at a party the other day, and some of my friends who've known like the space that I'm operating from, they're like, "Why are you doing this? You know, like, do you really think like all this is gonna make a difference? Do you actually believe like this is gonna change the world?" And I don't think they understand. They have the whole context or the power of the technology that we use. If you see, uh, none of like in history, like people would have never thought like kingdoms would fall and like countries would rise up. And similarly, a lot of things have happened. Like people never thought science would be such a thing. People thought like whole civilizations would just believe in God and believe the stories that were told before. And I see, I think we're at a stage where we have this power of aligning people in a different way. Like you said, it's a social and a coordination technology, which I frankly, maybe the status quo don't want to admit that it has the power, but we all know, like we see what is happening, and we all are like using it every day to um, do these things. So I feel hopeful, and definitely, like as the number of people grow, I think like power resides where people believe it does. Like I strongly believe in that. And yeah, let's hope for the best and let's grow.
Power to the people. Power to the people.
United we undivided.
United we undivided. So Jacob is a conscious rapper, very talented human being, also happens to be in Lisbon. And so I'm inviting you, brother, to come on round to my place. It's actually John's place, but I'm renting it. Shim on over. All right, I got a beautiful microphone for you to drop some beats into. All right, you can put anything you want on the backdrop, and let's grow. We're gonna have a performance from Jake Habra, the legend himself, is going to come through. So happy days. We have a bunch of segments planned as well. Some DJ sets coming up. Some epic interviews with some epic people who are growing the movement. So let's go. Let's go. Back to you, Utkarsh. Okay, I'm sending you co-host. Utkarsh.
Yeah, done, accepted. It's just that, like, at times, some of the voices just start getting so distorted that I need to drop off and on. Hopefully, it's a today thing, and yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I'm in a place where, yeah, getting whatever I can, I'm happy with it right now. So, yeah, Marco, are you with us? I'd love to also have.
Architecture to be regenerative, well, of course, for sure you need to do all these things to get some local materials, try to be as much as zero print, for example, the waters thing, the sewage, so the sewage, like the light, how you get energy, all those things have to be for sure. But in the main problem with architecture is that this is the question: what's better, to have a natural area or to build a building on top of that natural area? So the answer is pretty clear. The question is, how do we continue growing cities, or how do we continue building new towns or new things? So my solution would be, let's stop growing horizontal plane, like eating more areas, eating more things, and start growing vertical. So there's a lot of infrastructure already done. There's a lot of footprint there. Wow, that was a sample? Or
what was that, dude?
Yeah, bro.
No warning.
Wait, hold on. One more time. Wait, one more. Oh, it's not changing? Come on now. It's supposed to play different. Okay, all right. Yeah, go ahead. I did not mean to interrupt. I mean, I kind of did, but I hope it was be more smooth. But go ahead.
This is like legend. Somebody's like legit forcing you. Like, you better grow.
Let's freaking grow. Oh man.
I think that, Jimmy, with that sample, I think we should do something with the Let's Grow Police.
Let's
And,
grow police.
like,
Grow police, grow police. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Grow police, grow police. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? You better grow your mangroves and your pumpkins. Oh man, we're having way too much fun here. All right, go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
can see the rap. Go on, Marco. Yeah.
Yeah, and well, so then the best solution for architecture is to build on top of existing things, like make cities higher, not wider. And then we face another problem, which is density. And density requires architecture is to build on top of sewage systems has to be wider, the energy has to, like, like everything has to be more compact, but more capable of resisting that density. So then I would sacrifice density in, like, I would sacrifice better to densify urban places than overgrow in the horizontal way. So yes, I think if if there's a solution for architects, it's in the urban design and trying to find ways to build on top, to reuse places that maybe have low scale yeah, like stories, like 2 stories, 3 stories, and just go, and if that place wants to grow, let's grow vertical, not horizontal. That will be my approach and my solution.
Yeah, before I let you go, Kingfisher, I think just another bit I would like to get your thoughts on. Is it better to have more dense places growing vertically, or is it better to have like eco villages that are more distributed in terms of space from one another and they're all self-sustaining by their own selves? Like, is that a,
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but that would be the best solution for us to arrive into a new planet. This existing planet has a lot of footprint of urban places. So if we just decide to build this utopia in natural areas that are natural today, why would you bring more humans to natural areas? Let's just keep the natural, that's my opinion. Let's just keep the natural areas.
so all
Try
right,
to
so what you're saying is do not like do more deforestation for more construction, but just
exactly.
like use what's there now. Got it. Got
Exactly.
it.
And it's tricky.
Yeah.
It's tricky because you would say, okay, let's build a community in a natural area where we have zero footprint and we're completely regenerative. In the end, and I've been putting in the last spaces, like natural environments are in extreme competition 24/7. So there has to be a way for us to prevent that natural environment to compete with us, right? And when we're entering that competition in an artificial way, for example, building like concrete or whatever you want, like just preventing dominant mammals to enter into our area, for example, jaguars. I'm imagining in the jungle. No, imagine how would you solve the jaguar situation if you want to build a community in so you're somehow disrupting or cutting the natural cycle of a place. So I would just remain that place sacred and untouched, rather than just for more regenerative you want to be, we will end up by influencing. My English sometimes is terrible, and in the morning is worse. But you will end up influencing the natural cycle. That's my point.
Loud and clear, understood. No
Kingfish.
issues there. Kingfish.
Yeah.
Fishy
So
fish.
question. Can you hear me? Okay, we're good. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
question for Lucius, having the architectural background, because I'm also connected to somebody who has architectural background. So let me propose this. So we see already in our urban environments all these abandoned areas, right? So you said architecture by nature is extractive, but architectural design not necessarily, right? So why couldn't we take the practices and the the thoughts behind architectural design and take these urban areas that are abandoned. I mean, I know it's going to be a big lift, right? But take these and transform them into a more, back into a more natural environment, using those design practices, and maybe make some like beautiful garden areas and, natural open spaces, right? I think that's something that at least in an urban setting would help send the message to people about becoming more regenerative. I don't know. That's just my thought. To hear your thoughts on that.
That's a really good point you're touching, and it's design. So design, like the essence of architecture is meant to guide human habits. So depending on the design you have, and what was that? Depends. Stop doing that because I'm cutting myself from the string. I forgot. Wait a second.
Oh no, I'm so sorry, bro. I didn't know. I'm so sorry. I just been trying to experiment with this.
To multitask. So if you bring more input to the conversation,
I'm so sorry, dude.
Sensory overload.
Oh
Overload,
no!
overload, boom.
What have I done? I stopped your train of thought. Okay, back as you were. Back as you were. Summon the inner centropic.
Architecture
got
is
this.
The guide, like it guides human habits. So the better the design, or not, I wouldn't say better, but the more focus you get, the more focus you put on the design into enhancing the habits of regeneration, there is where architecture can play a key role in here. Like, for example, if you just let's go to a very, very specific example. If you put the TV room in the center of your house, what will end up happening is that the majority of the time, the people will be gathered in that center or in that big area, and if the TV is there, they will end up putting the TV in, and most of the day people will be watching TV. If you put the bathroom right next to your bedroom, you will let's say satisfy your biological needs like peeing and pooing faster than if you put the bathroom in all the way. For example, if you're sleeping 3 a.m. and you're like, oh my God, the bathroom is so far away, I need to go. Okay, I'll go. Like this is a crazy example, and it's not like I won't go to the bathroom if it's far away, but these little details, these little things are what are guiding our habits, like how close the kitchen is from your bedroom, how close is the dining room from the garden, how like all these things, how you program architecture is where you can play a key role in designing urban areas, right? So and back with what you were saying, Kingfish, I think it's really important to pay attention on how we design cities, how we design even private spaces, and by making it regenerative oriented. For example, putting the I don't know how to say in English, the huerto, but it's like where you grow your food next to the kitchen will make an easier access for you to take care of that huerto in Spanish. So if you put the hort all the way out of the house, huerto, but it's like next to your bedroom, it's not like it's not close to the kitchen, so it will be easier to collect the food. So then with time, you wouldn't be motivated enough to pursue that habit. So I think design plays a key role here. And yes, go Guru.
So then with time you wouldn't be
Just wanted to check.
motivated
Is
enough
the Max Impact
to pursue
space
that
happening now?
habit. So I think
or is it
design plays a key role
Yeah,
here.
no,
And
it is supposed to be now,
Guru.
but I posted EST
just wanted to check.
instead of
Is
ETC by
the
accident, so
Max Impact
may
space
have
happening
to
now with
reschedule that one.
Nomad,
Probably threw
or
them
is
off.
it
But also, there's a Gitcoin
Yeah,
space right now, so there
no,
might be
it is
silver
supposed to be
lining. But we
now,
could do this
but
when it's not
I
conflicting.
posted
So
EST
I don't know.
instead of UTC by
Wasabi's usually
Come
pretty
on,
chill
bro.
for us to use his slot.
Come on, bro. Guru's like, come on, bro.
Probably threw him off.
What?
But also,
No,
there's a
I'm like,
Bitcoin space right
I'm
now,
like,
so that
we
might be a silver lining.
schedule
We
the
could do this in
back-to-back
not
space every
conflicting.
day at
So,
the same time, and we put
I
like
don't know.
EST instead of UTC.
Wasabi's
Come on,
usually
how
pretty
could
No,
you do
not
that?
every day.
Come on, bro.
You're saying
Guru's like, come on, bro.
yeah, I know. I normally say
No, I'm like,
EST. It's
I'm
usually
like,
always in
we
Eastern, and
schedule
it
the
threw me off. All
back-to-back
right,
space every
because
day
I've
at
been
the
doing it
same
for so
time, and
long
we
that I
put
said
like
EST.
instead of
Come
UTC.
on, man.
How could you
No,
do
not
that?
every day. Oh, you're saying I read. Yeah, I know.
You're
I normally
talking to
say
me?
1 p.m.
Bro,
EST.
I got
It's
this.
usually always in
Sound
Eastern,
the guru.
and threw
Oh,
me
you're talking
off. All
Guru?
right,
Yeah, makes
because
sense.
I've been
Makes
doing it for
sense.
so long.
Well,
that
I'm
I
gonna hit
said
up Wasabi, and
Come
I'm
on,
gonna hit
man. You
up
think you can handle
Noman
15
and
days of
see
max
if
impact? Really?
it's possible an hour. Really? Are you talking to me?
Give me one
Bro, I
sec.
got this.
I'm talking to Guru.
Oh, you're talking to Guru? Yeah,
Cool,
makes
it's
sense.
Is the
already
Gitcoin space
Well,
happening
I'm
right
gonna hit
now?
up Wasabi, and I'm gonna hit up Noman and see if it's
Oh,
possible an hour.
Always
Uh,
overlaps with my
yeah.
time. Give me one sec.
so what's the scene? Is the Gitcoin space happening right now? We move into GG or?
No, bro, let me get back to you in a couple
cool,
minutes.
Always
cool.
overlaps with my time.
Cool. All right, cool.
Jimmy,
Guru, what's the scene? Are we holding this down, or are we moving to GG,
No
or?
man.
Yeah, no, in 55 minutes does not work for No Man. So we're
No
gonna
man
start
is
it up
here.
let me get back to you in a couple
Okay,
minutes.
you're
I'm just
gonna
trying to confirm
Cool,
real quick.
cool. All right, cool.
Jimmy,
Guru, you came.
Okay.
No, you came for No Man, right?
Send your alter egos to the other
No, I'll
Norman is
be
here.
And yeah, no, in 55 minutes does not work for No Man. So we're gonna start it up regardless. Okay.
I see no man.
Okay.
Should I invite him to speak?
Yes.
Let's invite
Okay.
Let's go. Let's
No
Bro.
man.
Yeah. Send your alter egos.
Matata. All right. Happy days.
Yeah, we got people in the
DM
back
the
wondering
attendees.
if
That's
we're
an
gonna
easy way to
stream the
show I'm
Bitcoin
not actually
space.
big.
Should I invite him to speak?
So we have people in the
Yes, let's invite
background
him to
wondering if we're
speak.
gonna
Let's go,
stream the
let's
Bitcoin
go. No, we're not. We
space.
just said we're doing No Man right now.
All right, no worries.
All right. Happy days.
So we got people in the back wondering if we're gonna stream
Okay,
the Bitcoin
so
space, so.
let's grow. Let's grow.
So we have people in the background wondering if we're gonna stream the Gitcoin space.
No, we're not.
here.
Before you want to take it over, I think Art of I Forever. Oh, from Fractal.
Okay, so
Art of I. Do you want to say something?
let's grow. Let's grow.
Yes, nice to be here. Thank you so very much.
Before you want to take it
Very
over, I think
interested in the conversation
Art
that
of
you
I
were
Forever.
having
Oh, from Fractal.
about building.
Art of I. Do you
And
want to
I
say
think
something?
design is very important. Although I think Nice to be much here. more Thank you so very important would much. be what you I choose am to very build with. interested in the And conversation I that you were would having encourage about looking building. at And I like think the design hemp is very to important. be built Although I with, think and much also more bamboo, important would be mostly what you because choose they to don't build take with. years and And years I of would growth. encourage And that's looking really at all I wanted to add the to the hemp conversation, which was to very be built interesting. with, I'm very and grateful also and honored to bamboo, be here today, mostly because and I look they forward don't to take being years in and your groups years more of often. growth. I do work And quite a bit, that's over really all I 50 wanted hours to a week, add to the and conversation, which was very so I don't interesting. have I'm very all grateful the and time honored that to I be would here really today, enjoy and I being look here. forward to being So in your thank groups you more very often. much, I and do for work allowing quite a me to bit, speak. over Y'all 50 have a hours really a great week, day. Thank you. and
Thank
so
you
I
so
don't
much for coming
have
up and
all the
sharing.
time
And
that I
yes,
would
please come
really
back
enjoy
anytime.
being
I
here.
feel like I see you are a
So
part of Fractal Visions.
thank you
And
very much,
yeah,
and allow me to
Bamboo does
speak.
grow really
Y'all
fast.
have a really
She's
And
great day.
not just a
Thank
part,
you.
she created me.
thank you so much for
Oh,
coming up and
damn.
sharing. And yes, please
Oh,
come back
damn. You're
anytime.
getting
I
into the
feel
studio
like I see you are
creation
a
of
part of
Iglina.
Fractal Visions. And
Ooh.
yeah, Bamboo does grow
Yes,
really
Well, that,
fast.
and
She's
And
not just
I
a part,
also
she
believe
created
that
me.
there's many people
oh, damn.
that are
Oh,
of
damn. We're getting to
an
the studio
older age
creation of
like
Iglina.
myself that would be
Ooh.
so excited. Yes,
Well, then,
and
like,
I think lift up these young creators. So I really encourage you to think about those older people that really, are not as tunnel vision as it may seem. There's a lot of people out there that are very interested in the creators, very interested in crypto, but there is no starting point for them. I am honored to have such an amazing creator as my son. So, okay, I see you
Wow.
laughing at me.
We would
Anyways,
love to
but
have
there
you
is
come
no
up and
starting
share
point for
more.
them.
I feel
I
like
am honored
it
to
was
have
it's
such an
wonderful listening to
amazing
you, and
creator
yeah, hell
as
yeah,
my
we want to
son.
know what
So,
goes on behind the scenes over there. But
okay, I see
yeah,
you
please
laughing at
please
me.
do come up
Anyways,
and
we would
love to share have whenever you you come feel up like. and share more. I We are feel here. like I'm sure it you would know was we're here it's 24/7 wonderful live listening for to you, 15 days, and yeah, and hell yeah, we want to
This
know what
free
goes
flow
on behind the
conversation,
scenes over there.
Marco.
But yeah, please do
Well,
come
first
up
of
and
all, it was
share whenever you
really
feel
nice
like.
to hear that.
We are here. I'm sure you would
Say
know
that
we're
you
here
built a
24/7
great
live for
fun,
15
a
days,
crucial
and yeah,
element
this is
of
a
this
free flow of
community.
conversations.
Fantastic
Marco,
human being,
go ahead.
super supportive,
Well, first of
super
all, it
creative.
was
We're
really
just so
nice
grateful
to
to
hear that.
have Glenn
I
in
just
this
personally want to
community.
say
And
that
well,
you built a great
indirect
son,
and directly grateful to you
crucial
for creating such
element
a
of this
wonderful son.
community.
That's
Fantastic
one.
human
The
being,
other thing
super
about what you were
supportive,
saying about
super
hemp and
creative.
bamboo,
We're just so
yes,
grateful
it
to
goes back
have
again, like
Glenn in this
saying,
community.
okay,
And well,
let's try to be more conscious about which
indirectly grateful to
materials
you
are we
for
using in
creating
order to
such
be.
a wonderful son. That's one thing. The other thing about what you were saying about hemp and bamboo, yes, it goes back again, like saying, okay, let's try to be more conscious about which materials are we using in order to be less extractive. But think about this. What if then everybody would think the same and say like, okay, let's do everything with bamboo. Every other city will be done with bamboo. Then we will go back again to the same problem. Huge monocrop of bamboo
Just check what's up.
for
Check what's up.
extraction, then degradation of land. So there is like it's a vicious cycle that is tied directly to architecture. So that's the main problem with architecture, as I see in the future. But there's a solution I've been thinking of, and I've been exploring with some Cuban architects that they're super talented and super creative. And we came to idea: what about bioarchitecture? Architecture that grows with time.
And then when the
Plants,
tree
living
arrives to a
plants that
certain
hold
point or moment,
spaces,
you can build the second
spaces
story of
that
your
can be
house.
part
And
of our
everything's regenerative.
new design. So, for example, bamboo or a tree that you will be shaping with time to be a staircase. And then when the tree arrives to a certain point or moment, you can build the second story of your.
Dreaming. I'm
And
sorry.
everything is regenerative. Everything
Let's continue these
is
discussions, but I want
natural.
to respect the
So
fact we
when
got a
once
guest
you
right
move
here.
out,
Okay,
you're
so
just leaving a garden that it's
let's start the show,
inhabitable.
and let's remember where that thought was,
Of course,
and
that
let's
will take a
continue
lot
it
of time,
once Glenn
and
grows as well. All right,
that's the problem as
have a
well
lot
with
of time.
humanity.
Love the dreaming. Love the dreaming. I'm sorry. I love you guys. I love you guys. Let's continue these discussions, but I want to respect the fact we got a guest. Hold the phone. Okay. Here. Wait, we got Newman on stream as well. Happy days. Okay. We've got to share this in there. Okay. Here we go. Oh, no, wait. Here we go.
Once upon a time, there were beings who wanted to create something. These beings carefully guarded an aspect of consciousness called light. At different times, these guardians of light met and worked together in the different realms of reality. And they designed a time when their plan would go into effect. These beings are you, and that time is now. And each of you knows, in the deepest portions of your being, that you have come here for a purpose. You are beginning to feel what may be coming.
Hello and welcome everybody to your positive impact in the world by leveraging the latest and greatest technology. Okay, with me today is none other than Noman. All right, so Noman actually started the Regenaissance And as a lot of y'all know, we are co-organizing as the Regen Movement, the Regenaissance Festival. And so I'm very, very blessed and grateful to have Nomen with us here today to talk about some of its origins, to talk about where it's growing, and far more details behind the Regenaissance movement. So Nomen, we have a tradition here on the show, and that is to always start with why. So when I ask you what's your why, I'm talking about your personal why, your inner drivers, your motivators, what gets you specifically out of bed in the morning and fuels you to burn the new goal. You encapsulate it into a description. How do you describe the why of you? Your inner drivers, your motivators, what gets you specifically out of bed in the morning and fuels you to burn the
go back to when I was a teenager and I emerged from Disney dripped childhood where I had seen the world through rose-colored glasses and was confronted with the reality of mundane everyday suffering. And I was trying to make sense of that. I was trying to understand what was happening. And I encountered one day the writer Albert Camus, the existentialist writer who grew up with tuberculosis, lived through the Second World War, and wrote deeply on the topics of death, suffering, and meaning. And when I read him as a teenager, as a 15-year-old, I felt such a sense of relief from the gift that this dead man had given me through these pages that I vowed to myself in that moment that I would attempt to give on that gift to the next 15-year-olds to come. So that would be my why.
Respect. It's cool to know about your inspirations, and yeah, definitely got to look into that piece of writing. So, what's your story, man? Like, how did you start thinking up the Regenaissance? What led to it?
The Regenaissance was inspired by a few things. First of all, it was the transition I made from philosophy and literature, which was my background, and that guided me into a book called The Glass Bead Game, an amazing book by the writer Hermann Hesse, who talks about a city-state of truth monks. So kind of like the Vatican, but the city-state of monks who are dedicated to the truth and who study history, philosophy, music, symbols, mathematics, and play this game together where they try to bring out the universal resonances that connect all things. And when I read this book, my mind was blown. It felt to me like it was the articulation of what I'd been doing for many years, playing without knowing it in the realms of philosophy and literature. And here he had formalized it into a game. From that moment on, I was inspired to study game design and to figure out what kind of games could we create which would connect people together on this really deep level. One day I stumbled upon a document by Jessica Zartler, who was talking about the Regenaissance. So I didn't term the name the Regenaissance, but I found it in this article she wrote in 2020, I believe, and it struck me immediately the implications of that term, and how much it resonated with the current era that we're in. And so I took it on myself to start articulating and start weaving out the implications of what this term would mean for our era, with the goal of designing a game that would help us move from the degenerate civilization that was clearly observable all around us into a new, maybe civilization isn't the right word, maybe it's something which is beyond the city as the center of our paradigm, but into a new world that would be orbiting around regeneration.
New world generation. That's super cool. That really and exciting. But maybe we can talk about this, how region shape it. I mean, we're with AI development, right? Like it's, you know, definitely an AGI seems like decade. And so with that, I feel like there's going to be a time where simply speak you can speak a creation, right? So like already, right? But to speak a fully finished product into existence and then people, yes, but also a lot of creation created, and those creations that I think will be rapid, just like the Renaissance, there was creation. Now we're going to see a whole other level of creation and what humans are capable of, and that could go as a or hopefully so how do you like, how do you hope it will head?
The point you make about the development of AI and the interface between mind and matter, which is radically deepening, meaning that right now we can prompt images, we can prompt text, we can prompt code into existence, but in the future it'll be possible to prompt buildings into existence. It'll be possible to prompt cities into existence. Imagine if one day you could prompt a planet into existence. Who knows how far this is going to go? And what is going to be prompted depends on the prompter, depends on what is the consciousness, what is the being that is performing the prompt. And if we can't heal the prompter, if we can't make the prompter whole, then the things that will be prompted will always be in service to a part. They will always be in service to the sticky little egos, rather than prompting with the awareness that we're in a context with billions of other beings all in harmony together, and that there is the possibility of a symphony to be created. There is the possibility of people to take turns to prompt new games, new worlds into existence, but only if we can figure out how to dance together, how to play together. And one of the main things which is preventing us from doing that right now is the fact that we live inside of a calcified hierarchy. We're stuck in a pyramidal structure of society, which then seeps into our minds and develops a pyramid where everything that we see is in hierarchical terms. But we can learn from the past of how to dissolve this calcified structure. And in the past, there were always regular rituals of dissolving the hierarchy and returning to the circle. And in the circle, everybody is equal. And in the circle, it is not the work of maintaining the hierarchy which reigns, but it is the play and it is the dance around the fire. And when I was learning about those rituals, of which many have been recorded and were formalized to a really high level of articulation in ancient Rome and ancient Greece, I was immediately struck by the lack of those events which help regulate the social metabolism, which help regulate society as a whole. And without that societal level of regulation, if it's always focused on the individual and it's the responsibility of the individual to regulate itself, then there are many, many different social pathologies which start to emerge. So the question for me was, so how do we revive these ancient games? And they were literally games, and that's what they were called. They were called the ancient games. And from that thread, I could see the deeper principle. And this is one of the core principles of the Renaissance, which is the principle of ancients. Ancients being the equivalent, the historical equivalent of presence to the present. And if we tune in to ancients, if we study the past, looking back from our context of the present, then we can see that many of the solutions that we require have already been created. Literally, the wheel has already been invented. But if we lack, and a lot of the time, the wheels that have been created in the past are way better than any wheel that we could design now, because we're lacking the quality of consciousness that people had in the past. And so if we look back, and if we look back wisely and learn from the best and forget the rest, then we can have the hope that we can regenerate ourselves as prompters, individually and collectively, so that the worlds that we prompt into existence with these new godlike powers will be true, good, and beautiful.
Wow. So eloquently spoken. Absolutely phenomenal and super inspiring. So, games, when you speak of the ancient solutions that already exist, are those these games that you're speaking of only, or are there other solutions as well? I mean, the games within themselves are so freaking engaging. There's more to that you were sharing.
There's so much, so much, and a lot of these things are forgotten, unfortunately, and a lot of them are nearly forgotten, and it's our responsibility to regenerate them, because if we don't regenerate them in time, then a lot of these things will be lost and lost forever. So, for example, to bring it back to a lot closer to the present, there are amazing thinkers out there who are still alive and who have been unrecognized by their peers, and who, if we don't find them and we don't record what the gift which they have to give, then they will be forgotten. There's work that was done in the 1970s by the Institute of Cultural Affairs in Chicago, where they did phenomenal work on mapping out the landscape of what needs to be regenerated in society, what kind of tactics need to be used. They came up with 77 proposals of 5 paragraphs each with 1-page summaries. They broke it down into all the elements. They provided the overviews and the deep dives, and this work has been completely forgotten. I haven't seen anybody talk about this work. If a group of people were to take that and to study it and to regenerate it for the present, there were some things which were valid for the 70s, but which aren't no longer, which need to be updated, then that would push us forward on this timeline one whole notch. And then there are ways of designing symbols. There are ways of creating patterns and imagery. For example, the traditions of mosaics, of encoding archetypal patterns into the everyday environment, so that when you're walking around, you're not just encountering brick, you're not just encountering concrete, you're not just encountering straight lines. You're perceiving some of the universal patterns of nature, of life, of the cosmos, which are colored onto the walls, so that as you're walking around, you're in touch with that. And the number of traditions which are out there are really uncountable. And I think it's one of the continual tragedies of humanity that we don't learn from the past. We remain stuck in this small time window of the present, and we forget that people have been doing this thing that we're doing for a hell of a long time. And if we have any chance of succeeding in creating deep change in the world, then we're going to need the full momentum of thousands and thousands of years of wisdom.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Sorry, my video is bugging out right now. Might have to restart that. I think I've been doing this stream for quite a few hours, as we are streaming for about 8 days now. Audio